Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. This is the look at our market leading stocks via our proprietary scans that are fueled by Q-Link from eSignal. This is going to be for Friday, February 14th, 2014. Yes, it is February 14th, and that means pitchers and catchers are reporting. And I think something to do with Valentine's Day too. Anyway, I digress. So we had a not a great volume session, but we did have a session that produced a lot of signals here. We're going to wind up with quite a few upside CPS signals here as we go into the close. So make sure you evaluate all those, especially the ones that are approaching or are at range high on the dailies. There's also a bunch of deviations here. Got upside open close deviations in Amazon, Baidu, and Biogen. Biogen has a downside RPS just to be aware of. First Solar's got an upside signal as well, as does Clack. SanDisk, Netflix, Sina, all the same conditions, really strong. BlackBerry was the one that was fairly weak today. That one had a downside open close deviation. Moving on to the financials, real strong setup here. We do have some contra candles which aren't nearly as strong as the CPS signals. Definitely focus on the contra candles if we do gap down again tomorrow. So they'll have a little bit of a gap to fill there, and could be interesting. As far as the energy names go, you can see we don't have quite as much in the way of signals here. We've got one in BTU, that's a contra candle. ExxonMobil's got an upside CPS. Valero and PBR, ACI all had open close deviations. Moving on to the generals, here's we're stacked up again now with some better signals on the buy side. Keep an eye on the CPS signals for sure. So volume surge here in Comcast off of their acquisition news, and also pretty good follow through with John Deere as far as volume goes. Moving on to the housing names here, better to buy for sure. Not a lot of deviations here. The one thing that was pretty strong was Hovnanian, but that was on light volume. Contra candle setting up in CSX to the upside, but again, this is on real light volume. Last one, commodities. So you can see this is not where the action is. The XAU wasn't really the focal point. Mostly lighter volume, except for Barrick Gold. That one had a real strong day. That's almost 5% above the day's open. Double G, really strong. So again, the XAU is definitely the focal point of the commodities. The non-commodities didn't do too much. Excuse me. Potash was lower on the day. Mosaic, so the ags were a little bit weak. The non-ferrous, the non-precious metals were fairly strong. U.S. Steel popping pretty well, and so did Alcoa AA. So definitely keep an eye on these charts. So we're also getting to some key areas and to some key levels on both the XAU, the GLD, the GDX, and gold futures themselves. So make sure you review those charts and are on top of those. All right, folks. As always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight.